Hey there guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're back in exploring our solar system. So the last video we talked about Mars and its two moons, Phobos and Deimos. And now we're going to the next planet in our solar system after the asteroid belt, because the asteroid belt we're going to be talking about later. And you guessed it, Jupiter! Again, we're going there because I did this 4 years ago, but this is a better version, trust me. Let's go to Jupiter and see what its amazing features are. Jupiter is the fifth planet from our sun and the largest planet in our solar system. It is a gas giant taking 10 hours to rotate our sun. It orbits 5.2 AU away from the sun, taking 11.86 years. The ESI is 31, but you're not expecting this to be like Earth if this is a gas planet, obviously. And it's home to over 95 moons, 4 giant moons, 4 big moons, which are the Galilean moons, which were all discovered by Galileo Galilei, Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto. But before we're going to show you that, we're going to show you some stuff about Jupiter. So Jupiter is mostly made of hydrogen and helium as its atmosphere. And no, Jupiter is not a failed star, lol. So its diameter is 11 Earths, being 100, which is 139,822 kilometers. The actual tilt is about 3 degrees, which is not that much, meaning seasons aren't going to be a thing on Jupiter, but Jupiter does not have a solid surface unless you go to its core, which literally you have to go through so much pressure, it will literally kill you instantly. The average temperature is a negative 110 degrees, but even though that's kind of cold, its moons are colder. And speaking of its moons, it's actually kind of cold there. Never mind. So Jupiter is home to the Great Red Spot, which is a huge storm on Jupiter, and so big that you can fit several Earths in it. Yeah. And our entire planet is still smaller than a literal storm. And now that's all of Jupiter. Oh, you think I'm done? No, we're not, because you didn't explore the Galilean moons yet. And we're going to start with Io. Let's go through them quickly. So Io is a Galilean moon, and it's known for being extremely volcanic, and it has a lot of lava, and its sulfur atmosphere, and its very thin atmosphere make it out of a sulfur dioxide. It's kind of a harsh place to live on, just like Venus. Not because of its temperature, but because of its insane amount of volcanism. And it's also the closest, 42 hours to orbit Jupiter. Yeah, 42 hours to orbit Jupiter. The gravity for all of the moons is a tenth of the Earth, and all of the moons range between 150 degrees to 160 degrees. This is negative 151 degrees Celsius. Sorry if I didn't add the negative sign. And its atmosphere is kind of thin, and it has a small axial tilt, but most of it's synchronized with Jupiter's axial tilt because it's orbiting Jupiter. Its ESI is 0.37, so that's Europa. It is 3,640 kilometers. Europa, the smallest moon of Jupiter now, and it is a kind of iced up moon which has a very icy surface, and because of this it doesn't have that much craters, and you can see that there are some places with a lot of imagery. Let's go to the surface. You can see it's kind of like a lot of cracks on the surface rather than craters. It's because of its iced up surface. It is negative 156 degrees Celsius. Its atmosphere is just oxygen, but once again, just like all of Jupiter's moons, it's very thin that you don't really know it's there. It takes 3 days to orbit Jupiter, and all of the moons are tightly locked to Jupiter, so that means Jupiter will stay input while the sky will move around. It has another small axial tilt, but it's, yes, once again, synchronized with Jupiter. ESI is actually kind of less than Io, which is 0.27, and it's thought that there's an ocean underneath Europa, but for now, it hasn't really been confirmed yet, nor as subglacial life confirmation in Europa, and you can see it is slightly mapped out, but not that much, according to the game. But in the areas that were mapped out, you can see there is small craters, but lots of ice on the surface. So that's Europa. And let's go to Ganymede, the largest moon of Jupiter, which orbits 7 days to orbit Jupiter. And it's also, atmosphere composition is mostly oxygen, and it's thin, you can't see it. And its ESI is also more than Europa, but less than Io. And its diameter is much larger than Mercury. And its mass is also more massive than Mercury is. And it's actually kind of very massive. Like, look, 2 mass? That's like a lot. And that's Ganymede. It is actual. It's once again almost synchronized to Jupiter when it comes to actual tilts. The climate of it is mostly made out of water and silicate, and for Europa, water not that much, silicate or metallic core. Nice try, all people think that Europa has an ocean underneath, but it's been unconfirmed. Maybe we'll confirm it later. Okay, fine. For Io, most of it's silicate. So that's Ganymede, the largest moon of the solar system, obviously discovered by Galileo. It has a cratered surface, unlike Europa, but it has some small cracks, meaning it is slightly iced up, but most of it's craters. So let's go to Callisto, the farthest moon of Jupiter. Actually, the farthest moon, big moon of Jupiter, that is. And unlike Europa and Ganymede, it's heavily cratered, like a lot of craters. And it takes 16 days to orbit Jupiter, and it has a thin atmosphere only containing of oxygen and carbon dioxide. Its diameter is 4,820 kilometers, and it has a 0.3 ESI. So its temperature is negative 157 degrees, Ganymede is negative 165 degrees, and Europa is negative 157 degrees. Meaning the coldest moon is Ganymede, but the warmest is Europa, obviously. And that's Callisto summarized. And one thing else, it has half water, half silicon, no metallic core at all. So that's all the Galilean moons, and Jupiter has a ton of dwarf moons as well. So let's go to just 3 of them. So one of its dwarf moons is Thebe, which is 87-kilometer asteroid, taking 16 hours to orbit Jupiter. Another dwarf moon is Metis, 32 kilometers, taking 7 hours to orbit Jupiter. And finally, a very large dwarf moon, Amalthea, which is 133 kilometers and takes 12 hours to orbit Jupiter. So that is all of Jupiter and its moons. If you want to see more content, make sure to smash the subscribe button and leave a like. Adios!